you'd be the one coming up to me and saying, hey. So it's kind of like that with online presence. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like, I don't want to just say, hey. Every other girl is telling you, hey, on there, right? So what makes me stand out? And so
there's so much to dive
into. As far as, so, yes, I've been on all of them. And for research purposes. For research purposes. Yeah. On Sunday, I downloaded Bumble again. Just so that I could talk to you guys about it today.
Okay.
Still on my phone. It's been an experience.
Oh.
Caught somebody cheating.
Hold on, everybody. It's another episode of the Real Example Podcast. And as much as I brought y'all in this season, we're going to throw it to TJ. So go ahead and bring them in.
And so we got kind of our original cast here. We got myself. Then we got Raymond, which is funny because it's not risk, but it's still an R, so it fits perfectly. Then we got Zay with the double X. That's how we got her name. And then we got our beautiful guest, Danna. And just give us a little bit about your background so people can know, like, why you're qualified to talk about all this great stuff we're about to talk about.
Okay, so
I definitely
So I'm from LA, and I'm a Lakers fan, as you guys can see. Big Kobe fan. I've been in Atlanta for about 10 years now, but I don't consider myself from here at all. Atlanta is not home to me. I have a podcast called Danna Talks, and on that platform, I like to have motivational speaking type of talks, give people an experience where they can come talk about life experiences and just kind of like allow their voices to be heard. I feel like we all have a story to be told, so I really wanted to create that platform for people to tell their stories. So it's a bit about me. And as far as why I came here today, thank you guys for having me, by the way. But I feel like there's a lot to talk about relationships these days. Our generation and the way that we view relationships is very different than what it was 30 years ago. So I feel like there's a lot to talk about with that. So.
For sure. And with that being said, we're going to jump into our topic today, which is online dating, which this kind of falls under a bigger umbrella than what I feel like people kind of consider. But I just want to get everybody's take on this. So we're going to go around the table just so everybody that's listening can get a pulse check on like where you stand with it. Have you actually engaged with it? So quick question. Are you on any online dating platforms? Do you believe in it? And if so, is it your preference or you prefer in-person interaction? We can go with Danna first, though. We'll toss it back.
So. I've been on every online dating, Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, what's one of them, like OkCupid or something, I don't know. But I've tried all of them, and all of them have been trash. Out of all of them, I think my favorite one is Hinge. The reason why is because it kind of reminds me of like MySpace. For some reason, it's random, but like it's set out where there's like pictures and then like little questions, you know, kind of like Bumble, but it just flows differently. And the guys are the ones that reach out to you. Cause on Bumble, like the girls gotta talk, you know? Yeah, which I don't know.
Is that
like,
offsetting?
Yeah, cause it's like, what am I supposed to tell every guy? Hi. You know, it's
welcome to our world. What do you mean?
Welcome to the stroke.
Welcome to how it feels to be a guy.
like,
That was perfect.
I'm saying.
What am I supposed to say? Hi? Yeah. That's all I need.
Hi.
Listen, but no, like it's just like, I guess it's just weird because in everyday life, you know, and this is something, I won't get into this right now, but it's a thought that I would want us to come back to. It's like, how do you guys feel about women hitting on you guys in public, right? It's kind of different. Like if I see you at, I don't know, Kroger, Whole Foods, wherever, am I supposed to come up to you and be like, hey, hi, how's your day going? Like it's kind of the other way around usually. You'd be the one coming up to me and saying, hey. So it's kind of like that with online presence. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like, I don't want to just say, hey. Every other girl is telling you, hey, on there, right? So what makes me stand out? And so...
There's so much to dive into.
But as far as... So, yes, I've been on all of them. And for research purposes... For research purposes. Yeah. On Sunday, I downloaded Bumble again. Just so that I could talk to you guys about it today.
Okay.
Still on my phone. It's been an experience.
Ooh.
Oh.
Caught somebody cheating. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get
There's a
there.
lot going
So
on, man.
Wow.
It's a lot off camera talk. It's going
I'll let you
crazy.
talk.
But let's go to Raymond.
All right. So yeah, online dating is part of our. I think it's trended up now. I feel like everybody, or at least a lot of people, in our age and even younger, engage in it. That's kind of the norm now. I don't have a problem with it. I do engage in online dating. I use Hinge. Hinge, Tinder.
Okay.
No, and I agree with it. I actually no, like Hinge. I don't know what it is.
What is Hinge, bro?
But Hinge
know, bro.
brings.
That's a new one.
Bruh, is I feel like I don't. Okay, let me not say it like that. A higher caliber individuals go on Hinge. I feel like I don't know.
my bad.
I feel like it's just more interactive. Again, with the prompts, it gives you like the prompts, so you can start off with something more than hi because you've seen they've done some kind of question and then the person has answered to it, so you can reply to that
Right.
and then start a conversation that way, so it flows a little bit better versus just jumping into their DMs and saying hi and then you have to figure out something, spark something from that. Yeah, so I think online dating is just the norm now, and so I don't have any problem with it. It's cool. You just got to figure out how to navigate through it. Yeah, there are some things that come up with online dating. The way you interact with people, like you were talking about, that kind of changes things. But we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, just quick.
So preference online or in person?
So right now, because of
Yeah.
what we got going on, that almost has to be what you got to do. But if everything was normal, everything regular, no, in person definitely is what I would prefer now, the person I am now. Back in the day when, your boy had a kind of game that he had now, you know what I'm saying? You'd be like, no, let's do the online and figure out something there. But right now, yes, for sure, I would prefer to meet somebody in person because it's very hard to put up people still do put up a front, but it's easier to read people in person than it is over the phone.
100%.
So I prefer in person versus online. But yeah.
All right, Zay, man, an hour.
Alright, man. I've been on Tinder. I've been on Bumble. And I haven't really taken them seriously. Like, I just be on there kind of swiping and wilding. To be honest, like
A lot of times it's a game. You're just trying to figure out.
like seeing who matches and whatnot.
Yeah.
And my experience that really just made me delete them all. I was swiping and some chick had swiped and she was like, "So you're a photographer?" I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "So what do you do for a living?" I was like, ... Like, I'm a photographer. I take photos. I take videos. I'm in production. I'm on
Right.
sets. Like, that's what I do. And she was like, "Oh, really? So what you're telling me is you have sex with girls with their cameras and you post it on the internet." And I was like, and then I had to go look at my bio to make sure like there was
Let me go look.
there was
and
nothing
see.
that did that. And then I was like, my website's there. Then I looked at my website, professional headshot, where I came from, God's paintbrush. I was looking at all of that, and I was like, you know what? Nah, this app just this may be for
So
other
what you
people.
telling me?
It just is not for me. And so I was like, nah. Like online dating, I will say that it might be for other people. Me personally, I don't rock with it because one, my love language, my premier love language, the ones on the front, is physical touch.
Yeah.
And so like, you look good, and I can't touch you. That takes another level of commitment that I'm just not trying to really get on by just, hey, how you doing? How you feeling today?
Why did your voice drop low?
Because I gotta hop in the zone. Know what I mean? So for me, online dating, I understand why it's there,
Right.
especially during this particular this particular involvement with like COVID, but also just in general, like the access, the
Yeah.
ability to tap in with people from other places and really see how they living. And I think that's a benefit to it, but it's also like compared to like me dating someone in my circle and like meeting you in my circle, like I prefer to meet you in person and then go from there. Online dating is just, well, y'all know me. My first experience, y'all just heard my first experience
Yeah,
with
that's
it.
wild.
And
That
it's
was
like, yeah, and I was like, you know what? That's just not something I need on my name. That's not something I need on my conscience. Like, why did she think that of me? Like I didn't need that. So I was like, nah, online dating is not for me. Now I will say, do relationships start like via social media? and then become personal, that's a different aspect of it. Like, I'm not sure if y'all are considering like DM sliding part of the online dating
It's
process.
funny you say that, man, because that was a wrench. So I'm about to get into that.
Because no, that's part of the online dating process. Boy, I'm like Kobe in the fourth. You got
Is that right? Is that right?
Kobe in the fourth, like especially when it comes down to DM sliding, you know, having a
Fascinating,
conversation and
yes.
stuff like that. Because I mean, I know I look good, and I want to let you know that you look good too. And so we should both look good together via dating.
Why do I feel like you said that exact same thing to somebody?
Right.
No, he did. You know
I look good.
You know he did.
You know-
And you know you look good, so let's look good together.
That's exactly what I said. And so,
So you Snapchat wilding, huh?
hey, we're not. Can't bring that up. All right. Hey, we can't bring up
I thought you were
Snapchat.
tired, my
No,
boy.
Snapchat is done. I'm not getting back on Snapchat for
right.
very good reason. I can't believe you brought up Snapchat. But as far as when it comes down to like being personable through social media and like that having a conversation and it lead to a date, I'm down with that. But it's like off the strength of dating apps, nah, because it's just. I don't know. I just don't like the interaction per se. Nah,
I feel
you know
it.
what I mean? Like, women can shoot your shot on you digitally. That's cool. But also, like, you know what I'm saying? If she were to come up to me and be like, "Hey, you fine?" I'd be like, thank you. And think about it later. Let's get some contact information. Let's see if it's really worth something. Now in today's, you know what I'm saying? We gotta drop the mask. Like, maybe I'll holler at you later. Maybe not. I gotta be so
gotta drop
serious.
the mask.
Stop it.
I gotta be so serious.
You gotta-
Like, oh,
like
nice.
step back. All right, go.
Yeah. Put
I'm-
my back on.
But like I definitely think like I definitely prefer to be in person. Like I can really vibe check you there, see what you're really about, and like Raymond said, online dating, you putting up your highlight reel plus some catchy. I've seen so many clever things and like different bios. I'd be like, I can salute that, but in person, are you really that clever?
Yeah.
Can you really articulate? Do you have that wordplay? Can you really pique my interest? Because I can read something and oh yeah, that's dope, and then we hop in the DMs and say, hey, how are you? And you
How was your day?
can't stand it.
So I had not been. Wait, where are you supposed to? Did you
Yeah.
already
Oh,
share?
I actually did, but
Go ahead.
If
Before I
anybody
say
wants
anything
to
else.
know.
We want to know.
I was gonna
We wanna
slide
know.
through it and be like, nobody wants to know. But honestly, so the funny thing is, I actually am on Tinder now. I was on Bumble for a little bit. And my first time like downloading Tinder, I downloaded it like one summer I came back from Southern. And
yeah.
I was here, I downloaded it for like a week or so. And I was just like, because I was working and stuff like that. I was on there for like a week and I was just like, I'm just going to wait till I go back to school because this makes no sense. I can just wait till I get back down there and just keep doing my thing. So I hadn't been on online dating up until like a month. So I downloaded like after my birthday because it was like getting towards the end of the year. And I was like, man, this COVID's not letting up. Like I was like, at some point we're going to be able to get back outside and it's just not coming. So I downloaded Tinder, downloaded Bumble. I'm not really big on like generalizations and trying to put people in boxes. I try to stay away from that. But Bumble, I enjoy the idea behind it of a woman actually like jumping in my DMs first. But usually it's either hey, hi, hello.
Yep.
So it's usually not really hitting on anything. And then I don't know. I just wasn't really getting good at matches. So I was like, I don't have to put Bumble aside. So now I'm on Tinder, and Tinder is like just wild. Like we talked about that. It's like a whole different beast.
Nope. Nope.
So I'm on there, but I really feel like Raymond said, we can get into this a little bit later. Like as long as you let people know your status and your intent. Like I can't get mad if a girl has in her bio like she has like I'm just on here because I'm bored. If I swipe right and then like we start talking, I get mad at that later. Like you put in your bio
You know what you're
that
getting into.
you're bored. So it's the people that like don't really have none or don't say anything, or when they do slide, they still don't say what they're trying to do. That's when it gets annoying. But like a lot of people don't read that, and I got caught up in that because sometimes you just swipe and you go back to the bio and you're like, how did I match with this person? What's going on? So you just gotta pay attention to it. But I definitely prefer in person. Like it's like Zay said, you might be able to like copy and paste something from Google that just sounds amazing, or you took it from your friend. But when we actually talking in person, like the wordplay may not be there, the conversation may not be there.
All of a sudden it's lacking.
Exactly, and you can't really like everybody's really energy is like a really big trendy word now, but it's actual thing. Like you can't really
Energy.
and I kind of break it down into like body language, like kind of like just the chemistry of how everything's flowing.
Yeah.
You can't see any of that online. So
Yeah.
it's like that's like a, So
Then
I'm
we
kind
have
of
filters, you know. Everybody can look good with a filter on there. So.
That's true. I'm kind of warming up to it a little bit more, just because like COVID's
You
clearly
got to
not
now.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to figure out how to navigate it because I don't want to be that person that's just like, I was like extremely put off to it at first. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm never getting on here. No. And then like as the year kept going on, I was like, we're gonna get out of this 6 months later. The SpongeBob voice was like, we're gonna get out of this 8 months later. I was like, dang, we're not getting out of this. Okay. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna get on. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. But what were you about to say? We jumped
It had
into-
been some time since I had been on. So I've been single for over 2 years now. And I've been on there probably like at some point, maybe like a year after the first year that I was single, probably. And then I was like, this is not it. Like I just kept meeting like just I don't know, maybe I had that age range off or something, but naturally like I date older guys as it is. So I was like, all right, let me try to put the older guys. But then the older guys wanted something real serious. And I was like, I don't want nothing super serious. So now I gotta like hang out with the 27 or 28-year-olds that maybe want something casual, but their maturity level's not there. And that was bothering me. So I was like, all right, let me just do without. So went off, got on at some point earlier this year, and was still not really about it. And then got back on because we had a conversation about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it again. So I got on Bumble earlier this week, and I realized that they've changed it up a lot. So you know how I'm saying the whole how women have to do the first move?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they've made it better now, where you can ask questions. So like when you first match with someone, they have the option of, I don't just have to say, hi, hey, you know, there's like a little question. So I can ask you a question and I answer it, but you can't see my answer until you answer it. And then we both see what each other said.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool because we might have the same answer and that already sets us off in the right direction, you
I
know?
see what you're saying.
So I like that. And then my second favorite thing about it now is that they have the audio option. So
I need
me,
that.
You're gonna hear that voice.
I need that.
For
I
it.
need that because voice is like something that I'm naturally. I think a lot of women can say we like deep voices. Majority of us do.
Did you hear this? Did y'all hear this, man? I hate you. I hate you.
I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. Just how beards are or whatever. But so
We almost in the game.
and when I communicate, I like to use on iMessage. You know, you can talk through a little audio message. So I started using that. So I feel like now they're making it more where like you can really figure somebody out before giving them your number, because I don't like giving people my IG or my number. Like if you happen to find me on Instagram because you were snooping around trying to like stalk me and find something out about me, then that's on you. But I don't like, you know how some people in their bio have like their IG? I'm like, nah, I don't need you coming over there on my IG unless I want you to, you know? So I started doing the whole audio part to some of the guys I was talking to this week and kind of hearing like where their heads are, you know, because I'm not on here just trying to hook up with people either. So it's like my intent coming onto there this time was to actually try to see if there were some people I could actually connect to further. So it was interesting, just like hearing their voices and hearing where their conversation was going and hearing the guys that would actually respond back in audio when I would send audios.
Because I'm assuming some of them will be like, yeah, nah,
Yeah,
I'm not
some
hopping
of
on
them
that.
were
I'm gonna
just-
reply with
Yep.
just regular text.
What's funny, I think they're catching on.
Hold on. Y'all good up there? With the cameras? We good? Okay, cool. Continue.
I was about to say, what's funny, man, I feel like they're catching on now. Because you remember we talked about this.
Oh, we talking about audio messages?
Yeah, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
We were doing it on the gram, and it was just
Yeah,
like,
but what's it
we
called?
were
Yeah.
asleep. I was like, that's how you need to
No,
communicate.
we talked about, I think one thing that once a group of friends free blow, we've been doing audio messages since.
I noticed that.
Heavy.
That's really what put me
Yeah.
on to it.
Heavy
He
for
be walking
years.
around the apartment, and I
Just
was
listening
hearing
to-
people like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a dope way to communicate, though.
It
For real,
is.
bro.
It's like because I think audio, it's just because we've gotten so comfortable around each other. Sometimes might as well just speak it so so you can hear what's being said. And ultimately, the audio message ends up communicating way better
Yeah.
than text can ever could. And so our particular group of guys is used to it, and it's funny because anytime the guys like date somebody or date someone for an extended period of time, their group of friends use audio messages
Yeah,
because it's
start
just
bringing it into
Yeah,
like
they're bringing it
everything
into
now.
that.
it's just a genuine way so I can get your tonality. I can get where you're coming from. I can get what you're saying. I can really get deeper than a sentence that's typed and can be perceived or read with your own internal voice so many different ways.
Yep.
And so I think audio messages, like that's my preferred way to contact. Like me and
100%.
TJ, like we had threads of audio messages.
You don't even send.
Yeah, and even in our group messages, we use audio messages because you gotta hear how I'm delivering things, and
Yeah.
I don't want stuff to get lost in translation. And you end up de-escalating a lot of confusion
Oh, for
with
sure.
audio messages.
Yeah.
And I think, like, if I'm talking to somebody, I start off with a text, and then I'll be like, I'll send them an audio message, and then they'll be like, that's different. I'll be like, well, I want you to feel me, you know?
Yeah,
for sure.
And that normally takes it to a situation where, okay, we've answered from the DMs to the text. And then from the text, that's where it goes on from further and further and further. And I think a lot of people miss out on the audio message. And one thing I will say though, big disclaimer, if you don't know people use the audio message, you can't open with it. Like you can't just hop in the DMs, what's going on, girl? Like that's not gonna work. Or hey, I really was thinking about you or something like nah. Start off with the text, and then what you'll have what's is reciprocated, you feel
Yeah.
me? Then go ahead and hit her with the audio message. And if she hits you back with the audio message, it's like, we now have reciprocation, and therefore we can move forward. But that's another topic for another.
Oh, 100%. You end up in that situation where you send voice messages and you just getting text back. You're like, all right, I'm gonna have to head out. I might have to head out.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Definitely.
I think the audio message brings another part of, I think, intimacy that a lot of people are critical of when it comes down to online dating. And how do y'all feel about when it comes down to online dating? The lack of intimacy that's there, or the lack of genuine intentions. Like, you were talking about it on Bumble. You have dudes 27, 28, and I know they're probably saying all manner of things to you, but it's a lack of, like, why are you really here? Like, I feel like you got to sort through a whole lot of riffraff to get to the point. Even in real life, you got to sort through a whole bunch of riffraff.
Yeah.
But online, because of that, the access is a blessing and a curse at the same time. Because I get access to so many people, but also people have also access to me, and
Yeah.
therefore when I'm swiping and I'm matching, and based off this aesthetics alone and their bio, you get a whole bunch of spam.
Yeah.
Like for lack of better terms, like you get a lot of people who are nothing but legitimate mental spam.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I don't really like, because I already got to deal with physical spam. Like I got to deal with traffic, that's spam. Somebody getting on my nerves, that's spam. Somebody's trying to disrespect who I am or my craft, that's spam. So I got to deal with that in my real world. Then I hop online, I got to deal with more of that. I'm good on it, you know what I mean? But how do y'all feel about sifting through the spam of the world, or the spam of online dating, if you will?
I want to speak first.
I was like, go ahead. I know you got some.
I know you
Okay.
got something.
So I feel like the problem there is that people are just swiping based off looks. And I mean, what else are we supposed to do? You know, we're so used to thinking that way because that's what we do when we hop on Instagram. We're scrolling and whatever looks good, we like it majority of the time. And so when it comes to platforms like Bumble and all the other online platforms we're talking about, it's kind of the same thing. We're swiping, except if we like it, we swipe one way, and if not, we swipe the other way. So I feel like people don't actually take the time to look through, because if they did, they'd probably find like some hidden messages, even in the pictures that people choose. So I like to actually avoid the spam and take my time and be intentional in who I am swiping on and why. So if from a male's perspective, I feel like if you guys like scroll through and see that this girl is just posting pictures like in bikinis, or like just, you know, stuff that's kind of like, I don't know about this, you might think that it looks good and go ahead and swipe if that's what you want. But if you're right here, then like try to pay more attention to what the answer she has to the questions, you know? So for me, when it comes to looking at the guys, I like to look at not just what his pictures look like, because that says a lot about a man, the way he carries himself as well, but like the questions that he's answering, and if he's even answering any questions. Because some guys, they don't even choose questions. You know, they don't even have a bio. So it's like, what do I know about you besides the fact that you look good? Because there's a lot of beautiful people in this world that are very empty people and shallow people, and I don't have time for that. So am I getting on here to waste my time furthermore? Or am I getting on here to actually find somebody that I can actually connect to, and then we can figure out if it's something that I want to meet outside? It takes a lot for somebody to get my number, period. Whether it's in person or if it's online. I just don't like people having access to me like that. So it's like, if I'm going to take my time and being intentional with that, then I'm going to be intentional with who I'm swiping on as well.
Boom. Because I think, based off what y'all said, there's different crowds and there's different communities. You have like the Bumble community, you have the Tinder community,
Mm-hmm.
you have the Hinge community. And so I think the people who are taking that step are vacating and they're choosing where you're going to be at. For example, there's photographers, right? And then we have photographers who are on Instagram. We have Instagram photographers. You have photographers who are on Flickr. You have photographers who are on Pinterest. And there's different communities that have different agendas or different ways that they move and operate.
Right.
So I think with online dating, you got to know what you sign up for and know more than likely Tinder being the most popular one is also going to be the most watered down product. So if you got to go a little bit more niche with it, like Hinge, you're probably going to get to where you really want to go, or even eHarmony or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that where it's more intentional. Like you can go and get, everyone knows you can go and do something dumb on the most popular platform. But if you're really serious about it, you're going to dig deeper. Like you can always do the TJ knows this all too well. You can always do the 5-minute workout for 30 minutes a day and think you're going to get abs. But if you really want to do it, guess what? You're going to be deeper into, you're going to know who you want to follow,
Yeah.
know different people and get deeper into your craft.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing with online dating. Unfortunately, I don't know, I think it's got like a negative shade now because of the mainstream things like
For sure,
Tinder
for sure.
and Bumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Definitely.
And that was kind of my issue with it. Like for the longest, like I said, I was just like so put off to it by like stuff I've heard. So me getting on Tinder was like me just kind of like sticking my toe in, if you will, without having like really too much put into it. And what's crazy, because a lot of these dating apps, that one thing that really just bothers me is just like social media as a whole, it just plays on people's insecurities. So it's like they're always trying to sell you something. They're always trying to get you to like, especially I'm not sure about on the women's side, but on the men's side, they always want to get you to buy like more spotlight or get you to like purchase like doing like super
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
like that.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like
They got like the
I'm not really
you
trying
can
to
come
put
see
like
who swiped on
money.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put money into
Yeah.
this, but it's like they'll constantly bombard you with that, and it's almost set up like, I mean, let's face it, like an algorithm to where it's like, all right, so you're not gonna pay us, well, we're not really gonna show you.
It's
like
that
that
FOMO.
many
The people you
just
wanna
like,
see, exactly.
wow,
FOMO.
okay, so I'll see what y'all doing, but I've heard about Hinge, but I haven't been on there, so I might have to try that. But it's
on there,
interesting, so I kind of have like a slightly opposing view to what you said, and maybe if I get on Hinge, it'll be different. But as far as like Tinder, like I don't really go too in depth in my bio, and the main reason for that is just because if I outline my like whole life and what I'm doing, like when we actually talk in person or talk more, like what else are we kind of talking about? I just pretty much kind of told you like a little bit of everything, and then I'm like very personal, like even on Instagram, like I'm not showing, like you're not gonna really find pictures of my family. If you scroll, you
Right.
might see my sister, but you're not seeing like deep into my life. So my bio is not really gonna have like, I don't want you to know where I work, like where I'm at, what gym I work out with. You know what I'm saying? Like if you catch all that on the gram, cool, but I'm not like just openly tagging locations. So my bio is kind of like enough there to where it's like, okay, I'm not playing, but let's like actually talk so we can have a conversation. But I'm not like detailing out. And I think that kind of kills dates in a way. I feel like a lot of guys do that, kind of like lay everything out there, and it's like, so what exactly are we
ain't no
talk,
mystique
what are
to
we
it.
talking about now?
Well, you gotta be mysterious.
That's what I'm saying.
Like-
It's like, but there's, you know what I'm saying? There's like a way to do that. There's a way to do that, you know, respectfully and not be like creepy, where it's like mysterious and creepy. I think people kind of get the
Yeah.
two mixed
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah.
it's like, I like to hang in the mysterious realm, but I just can't have a long, like kind of lengthy bio. It's just like
True,
it's
true,
a no-go for me.
Well, Raymond,
I'm the
man,
kind of person like
about
I'll
to
put.
say.
I'm a very goofy individual. I'll put that out there. So what that means a lot of times though is I'll put a lot of things in my bio, but it's not. It's almost like giving you enough to like talk about. If I'm the stuff that I'm into, the things that I'm kind of sort of like obsessed about, like when it comes to like anime or
Jollof.
the jollof or the culture or whatever the case may be. But the reason why I'll put all that in there is to give you something to latch on
Like,
to.
do we have something that we
Yeah,
relate
so
on?
if there's anything that is
Yeah.
commonality, then that way I'm at least giving you something to like intro
A
with.
door opener.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
something. So that's where, and then and that's why I'm gonna segue into what you had said about welcoming to the guy side, where you literally have nothing to say all the time, you just except say hi, because it's like that's literally what guys have to go through and figure out. Okay, from her profile, she went here, she did this. Okay, what can I pick on?
And that's just online. In
And
person,
it's-
it's way different because you got a split second.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
And that's when it comes down to like really just like understanding the game, because it's like, okay, Whole Foods, okay, she just picked up like the dairy-free pesto. I'm lactose intolerant. Maybe there's a joke there. And
Exactly.
You're rolling your head. You're like, real quick, I'm about to go get that
on
too
your
anyway.
toes. You gotta be on your toes.
Like, and you got to make a split-second decision. So it's like, it's interesting because Bumble kind of puts y'all like somewhat in that space. But it's like,
Yeah, we have to kind of
y'all fully get it though.
And
It's
even
a
then,
whole-
you're talking about they updated it. No, they're helping y'all now. They're giving you questions.
helping us do anything.
They don't help them guys.
So-
you asked the wrong question.
They just
You
throw
ended
you
up in
out
the group
there.
chat. Look what this bum just texted.
And that's
me.
what you don't want to do. You can screenshot it like,
can
look what I got
screenshot it.
today. And you're just like,
Exactly.
all right.
Because I think there's just a perception, and I think it's the reality. Men, we have people coming to our DMs every now and then, right? Women, it's definitely the opposite way. And we just know for the fact that for every DM we shot, there's probably 5 other dudes who are shooting that same shot. with
I
the
never
same
get
technique.
DMs. I never get DMs. So earlier when you guys were talking about, I'm gonna explain why, because I believe there's a reason why. So I'm gonna bring that to the table so you guys can tell me. But
Okay.
so earlier when you were speaking on sliding into people's DMs,
Yeah.
I was like, I literally never have guys in my DMs, but I'm gonna tell you guys why. So for one, on my Instagram, I have like serious talks a lot of
Just
the
about
time.
to say that. They
Yeah.
don't know how to like even
You can't-
approach and
Yeah.
jump in there.
So-
too.
My presence alone can be sometimes what a lot of men have told me to be intimidating
Well, they just weak.
because of the way that I carry myself. I love it. So on social media, when I get on there and have a conversation about how are you becoming your best self, a guy that's watching that might want to say something to me is like, oh, okay, like how do I like say something to her, you know? And it's kind of interesting to me because less and less men do slide or try to say anything to me, it kind of, for some time, when I felt like I wasn't as confident, I was like, why you guys never talk to me? You know, or like even if we go out and I'm like with my group of friends, like usually I'm the friend that's not getting hit on, but everybody else is. And so one day I was like with one of my older guy friends and I was like, bro, I don't know why every time I'm out and about, like I never get hit on. And he was like, men look at you, but you don't have that welcoming, like, hey, come talk to me. You know, I'm kind of very like in my zone. And I guess it's a reflection of where I'm at in life. Like truly, if you're not coming with it, don't come at all, is my thing. So I think that I kind of give off that energy. So certain men are like, I don't know what to say to her or how to even come about talking to her. So when it comes to profiles, and I was just talking about making sure that you're choosing the right, you know, pictures and all that. On my Bumble, I have like the serious pictures, you know, the cute or whatever, and then I have like one me on the beach picture, just to show like, yeah, I got personality, like, you know, I look good, so what's up, you know?
Yeah.
But not like every single one of them is like me showing my body and stuff, because it's like that's not my intent at the end of the day.
I got you.
So, but it's interesting, like the whole DMs. And as far as me sliding into guys' DMs, I have a few times, but it's always been like in conversation. So like if they're talking about something that I agree on, I'll be like, oh, blah, 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 and then see what they say. And then like if it becomes a conversation, then like,
Or it's organic, you know, so it's not forced. I think, I can't speak on everybody, but if a guy does not, sees a woman, right? Me and TJ have had this conversation often. If he does not believe he can shoot a shot that will go in, he'll wait until his technique is there. So when he does do the shot, it's a guarantee.
yeah.
And so most times, dudes would probably love to approach you. But just seeing how you communicate now, and I've seen your page and how you carry yourself, the dude would probably be like, I can't waste my first shot.
Yeah.
Because my first shot is me on level 5, and she's at level 8. When I hit level 8, she'll be like, oh yeah, whatever. And then I gotta work harder compared to my introductions at level 8. Hello, how you doing? Oh yeah, I'm already there, baby. Let's come on, let's get, you know what I'm saying? Let's make
Yeah.
it happen.
Yeah.
And so, I definitely know I'm definitely that with some of my creative friends. Like TJ knows, like there's some females out there, some women out there that I would love to shoot on, but I'm not where I want to be at in my career. I'm not where I want
To
to
shoot
be
that
at.
kind of shot.
Yeah.
To shoot the shot that I know would build on something, a great foundation. So it's some of it's self-awareness, and some of it might also be alpha beta. You know what I mean? If a dude really sees what he wants, he's gonna go through that fire and be like, look, you talking a good game, but I'm gonna take you out regardless. And that's the difference between alpha and beta. Like some dudes get scared off. Some dudes are like, I bet. Let me see if I can really go there with her.
Yeah.
And if he can go there with you, he's gonna go there. But some dudes just aren't built that way. And are there a lot of alphas out there? Probably. But like I said, there's alphas who are waiting to shoot their shot at the right time, and then there's a lot of beta males who don't know how to shoot their shot, and there's also alpha males who don't know how to shoot their shot.
Yeah.
So it's that combination of three is probably one reason, and also the way you carry yourself. It's real easy for a chick with a bikini and the fat to go ahead and get all the DMs in the world. But if you carry yourself a certain way, you know that's not what you're soliciting. The dude can't come at you
Exactly.
crazy because
That in itself is a filter.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That is in
Yeah.
itself is a filter.
Because I have a friend, she's beautiful, like an IG model, whatever, got like 20,000-30,000 followers. Her DMs are ridiculous, and there's a whole bunch of dudes saying, "Baby, I'll show you the world, girl." You're not gonna attract the dudes who's gonna show you the world, because if they do it, you're like, "Okay, bet, I'm gonna catch a flight here. Can you meet me there?" And you're like, "Oh, God, COVID," you know, and
Exactly.
that's the type of energy that dudes like. Some dudes have that energy and can go there and match you with it, and other people know they're not there, so they're not going to put themselves in that position.
Right.
And I think that's one thing is like the art of DM sliding. I think you could definitely go on top the art of DMs.
That has to be a whole separate
How to
topic.
DM. Who needs to
Gotta
DM?
give out game.
DM protocol.
The rules of engagement.
There's a whole
Yes.
protocol. There's rules of engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a
literally.
great segue though into like ghosting though. So like the whole alpha and beta male thing, and I think sometimes like you may have a guy that gets in a situation, and I was trying like you told me this, and I was trying to understand it because I personally haven't put myself in that situation, but I was trying to picture, okay, like if I ended up with a woman I felt like was like at a higher level than me, and I feel like I got there too early. I can't really say I would ghost though, because I feel like that's not respectful. But when you told me that what happened, I was like, maybe that's why he did that. Maybe he saw he wasn't like lining up. He tried to meet you there and he couldn't quite do it, and he's just like, I can't respectfully do it, so I'm just gonna
Yeah.
trying to ride into the sunset.
Because
But
there's-
like I said, I can't fully understand it because I can only say I've been ghosted once by a woman, and then even then that got resolved, and it was like the roles were like flipped. You know what I'm saying? There was like some healing she wanted to do on her side. She came back and like explained it, like all respect, it makes sense. So I never actually been ghosted to really kind of understand that. But I know you kind of got some stuff you want to say on that, so I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Yeah, so ghosting is an interesting topic just in general because I feel like it speaks more about the person doing the ghosting than the person that got ghosted. And so for me personally, I had a little situation recently where I got ghosted by this guy that I had known for a very long time. And we were super compatible, like probably the most compatible I've been with any person since my last relationship over 2 years ago. And so I really, really liked this guy, and we had seen each other and everything. He lives in a different city. And when I came back home to Atlanta, we were kind of talking, but it was this thing where like, even when we were in person, I felt him wanting to tell me like, yes, like I vibe with you, but I got all this I need to figure out, and I like it's just a bad time. You know that whole saying like right person, wrong time?
Yeah.
I used to hate that. I used to hate it. Because about
Oh, boy.
like 4 years ago, I met this guy that I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, you know, that connection where you're just like, you just connect with somebody like that, like it's just automatic.
Yeah.
You're like, where you been all my life? You know? And so that's a different story for a different day. But the whole point what I was saying with that guy was like a similar situation where it's just like you connect with that person so hard, but then like it's just not the right time for this person. You know, whether you're like long distance or whether like you're in a relationship with somebody else, like who knows, right? So this guy, like I really do believe it was wrong time. But the thing is like, for me, I like to be respected in a way where like if I'm sharing my time and energy with you, I respect and need that respect from you. So I was, you know, obviously giving him all this, you know, respect and communicating with him in a timely way, but he just kind of like never told me exactly like, hey, I need the space, I need the time, I need to figure myself out. He kind of just dipped, and like I heard from him never, you know. And so it was one of those things where it left me in the dark because it's like I know the answer and I don't necessarily need you to tell me, but like it would be nice for you to actually say so, you know, and not just ghost and go like never hear from you again. So it was interesting, and I feel like you know, when it comes to online dating, this ghosting situation, I know you and I were talking about this, like, I feel like it happens quite often. Like, you know, we'll go on a date with you here and there, maybe 1 or 2 dates, and then, like, we never talk again. So we were talking about when is it considered ghosting, and when is it considered we're just not compatible?
Okay.
It's interesting, like, because kind of hit on what you said. I think there's definitely like connections you make with people where it's like right off bat, where it's like, okay, we're really vibing on something. And I think with those connections, like the emotions get tied into it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So the time period of which they ghost you, like it'll probably feel like it's like legitimate ghosting regardless, right? But if you're just kind of parlaying, you're like, okay, I'm just like kind of feeling it out, and you're like, it wasn't that like super quick connection, then I feel like if you only been like texting, especially if it's only through like Tinder, you only been messaging, that's not being ghosted in my opinion. No. Or y'all went out on one date, but it wasn't something where you all both felt like, okay, this is something we got. I don't think that's ghosting. But still, even with that being said, I still feel like there's a way to go about it. Like me, like you can call it like being too direct or whatever, but like this literally happened from Tinder, and I was like, man, I'm gonna actually like kind of snag one on Tinder. But just like the response time of text, because I'm not a big person on small talk, so I would just send out like a few texts just to like schedule like the next day. I'm big on like setting dates to meet in person. I don't like doing small talk, but it's just like either canceling or just lack of communication. I was just like, look, like it doesn't seem like you have high interest in me, and like I only deal with women that have high interest in me. So it's like, if I'm wrong, like let me know if I'm wrong. And it's like she didn't let me know I was wrong, so you had to do that. But I feel like you can avoid a lot of that if you kind of get to the nit and gritty a little bit quicker, especially if you kind of feel like there's a connection. I don't think that's like first date, like okay, like when are we getting married? Like now, like I don't think you have to do that. But I think there's so much small talk that goes on, but there's never like okay, like why are you dating right now? Why are you on this like platform? Like what are we doing? Or what are you doing? Where are you trying to see this go or potentially go? If you can kind of get like a grasp of that, I feel like you're more prepared for different things. Because someone says like, I'm just kind of seeing where it goes. I'm just kind of flowing with the wind, and then they flow with the wind away from you. And you're like, okay, I kind of saw this coming, because you did say you were just drifting. So when you drift away, it's like,
and
okay.
So if we bring it back to our main point, which was like intention, like what are you on here for? You know, I feel like a lot of ghosting happens mainly because of that. It's because people are not clear. Like people can't communicate and articulate what exactly do you want. And I'll be the first to know, like to say actually that there have been times where guys have asked me, what do you want? And I'm like, honestly, I don't even know right now. Ooh. Honestly, I don't even know.
That's still real though.
Yeah. You know,
if you communicate it,
you have to articulate your status
and intent.
Right.
Don't where are you at right now and where are you trying to go. It doesn't and again, I'll say this again. It doesn't have to be that you're trying to go somewhere specific.
Yeah.
You could be like, I'm not trying to do shit right now. I'm not really trying to shoot for any kind of serious relationship. I'm not, but at least you articulate it to that person so that they make an informed decision for them.
Right.
That's the main thing.
And so, you know, bringing it back to like my situation, I feel like there was not enough communication in that space where it's like, oh yeah, we connect, but then it's like, then what? Because then again, like we can connect to just about anybody, like as human beings, especially the way that we, you know, can communicate with each other, even in just having this conversation. It's like I connect to just about everyone in this room, you know. So it's like, what more than connection, you know? And I think that I had read something where it was like, stop settling for connection and rather like, are we actually compatible?
Boom. That's what it is. That's what it is, compatibility. You have to know compatibility-wise how things work. And it's easy for anybody who's extroverted to connect. Like, TJ knows I can put on multiple different faces.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? I could connect with a lot of different people. But it's beyond that. So after we get past the I look good, we look good, we both look good together, does our lives look good together?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But most men don't know even how to go there, though. They don't even care what my life looks like. They just care that I look good right now and that I might look good in your bed, basically. Aside from that, you don't care what my life actually looks like. And so when I'm talking to people, when it comes to online space, I want to know where your mind is. You know, so when I'm sending these little audio messages, I'm really testing you. Yeah. But not all women can do that. So I feel like a lot of women get ghosted simply because like they're playing from right here. They're playing from, oh, like I just really want to connect with someone. I just want somebody to give me attention, rather than like connecting like with an intention of like, hey, right now I'm in this place, which brings it back to me saying that there was a time where I didn't know what I wanted, so I had to get off.
Yeah.
Off of off of being available, and now I'm back because now I'm more clear. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind going out with somebody, getting to know somebody. I have that time now and I'm open to it. But it's like, I think a lot of women are on there for the wrong reasons just as much as men are on there.
Yeah.
They're not
So
the-
then my question is,
Yeah.
is there a way to kind of, what's the word? Like, how do you pull that out of each other? Is there a way to pull it out of people and figure out where they are and their intentions and that kind of thing?
Questions
Like,
they
what do you, how do you go about pulling out?
Yeah.
I would say it's the questions you ask and the
Yeah.
patterns of behavior. If there's questions you ask and there's patterns of behavior, people are definitely creatures of habit. So
Yeah.
if you have a habit of doing something, I would never, like one thing that my father told me, never think you're higher than someone else's habit. So what that means is someone has a habit of doing something based off communication, based on how things are happening, things that in the third, acknowledge that habit, and then realize that you're not above that habit,
Yeah.
and operate in that reality. And also this is with the questions that you ask. If you ask deep questions and people are just like, oh, I'm not here for the deep questions, that's an answer in itself, or a lack of an answer is an answer in itself.
Yeah.
That's if you ask somebody a question, they don't respond. That is a response. No response is a response. If you ask someone a question and they try to deflect it, deflection is a response.
Yeah.
Your behavior is a manifestation of your reality at that moment. So if you're asking about a deep question dealing with somebody's reality, like, what do you plan to do in this life? I'm not really trying to think about that. Why are they saying that? Because they probably don't know how to articulate what they really want to do. They're either scared of it or they don't know how to do that, And so if you ask those deep questions, you get no response. You have to respect the lack of response, respect the deflection, because that lets you know, it's an indicator of this person might not be where I am, or this person might not be where I want to be.
Yeah.
Or that person might have an answer that's controversial to my answer, and therefore we're scared of that clash.
Right.
Scared of us not being compatible. And that real time scarcity, because everyone believes that there's not 7 billion people in this world and I can't find the right one. Look, that person's out there, but you have to be real with yourself to understand what you want and articulate it. And so many people are scared of losing off the person that,
Yeah.
oh, this is my last chance to get a 9. Like, whenever I hear, like, especially dudes,
I feel like COVID probably made that worse though, man.
yeah,
For
I think a lot of
the
people,
scarcity going through the roof.
people really think like, I will never be able to once again go out and get a baddie or go out and get the right one or go out and get that. So if they do ride into women and men, if they do ride into somebody that does fit 7 out of 8 or 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, it's still not 10 out of 10. So, but people think,
They'll
I
settle
gotta
because
get
they
that.
like, I'm not gonna get that.
Because I'm not, the chances of me getting a 10 out of 10 who's gonna understand me for me is so low. And that's where a lot of people live at, and I can't be mad at it.
So then my question to that is,
Okay.
do you think online dating has created a trend now where people easily jump ship? Because I heard this, I was talking with one of my friends the other day about this, and they're like, just like you were talking about, like dating and thing has changed 10, 20, 30 years ago, it's not the same as it is now. One of the things that people say now is that people are so easy to jump ship. People are so easy to like be like, nope, it's not gonna work, and they out because online dating has created that access to so many people that people aren't willing to fight for that or settle in that case, if you want to use that word, because now it can be looked at settling because it's like, well, I have all this access to these other people. So if this one is not doing it for me, I don't have to settle for this. I can go get another. So do you think that online dating has caused it to where people don't fight? Because you're right now we're kind of saying that it's a positive, like there are other, but sometimes some people look at it as no, like if you might be missing out on something genuine here just because you feel like you can find something else elsewhere.
Well, I think that also thinks about steps and intent, right? So you said if you have a good thing, right? And if it's really a good thing and you really invested time, money, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you really to let it go, how deep was that relation to begin with? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if the relationships are deep like they need to be, that option goes out the window because you have already found who you need to be with and you've decided, all right, we're gonna build this house together. I know too many people, we're in the apartment stage, right? But when you're building a house, building a mortgage, you gotta go in, you sow the dirt. You make sure the dirt's foundation's laid. That's a monthly process, a yearly process. Then you build the foundation, wood. Then you go in and do everything else. All the furnishing of the relationship, the paint, where you gonna park your car, the garage, that's the last part. Everyone's looking at the last part while not understanding the foundation. So people don't know how to build a foundation.
Yeah.
So, I was gonna bring this to a close because we're running up on time.
Yeah, you gotta give some people some practical tips though.
Some practical
So,
tips and some
basically
practical
how to-
applications with online dating.
Exactly how to, I guess, because you can't avoid. I think people are always like, how can I avoid this? There's just so many people out there. You can't physically avoid every single negative situation, but we can provide people with like different steps on how to like kind of filter it. I guess I'll just go first, but I think it comes back to communication. Even what you just said there, if it's not communicated that this is something, and that might have been something that you are more invested in that other person, so you allow like different red flags that you kind of missed that they saw based on. I think a lot of people, they'll see something based on someone's behavior, and again, I think communication wise, you should still say like, hey, based on what I'm seeing here, I'm not rocking with this, right? If you see it and you don't say anything, you leave, that's still ghosting because you didn't communicate that, right? Now after you communicate that, you still gotta respect the fact that, like you said, it's a habit. They're probably not going to change it if it's a habit, but at least you communicated, hey, this is the reasoning behind why I'm about to move this way. So I would say communication, like make sure that's like thorough, even from your bio, like what are you on here for? And then when you actually get into it, just like communicate that entire time. That'd be my biggest tip. You have any takeaways?
Yeah, I think that if you keep attracting the person that you don't want to attract, then maybe it's time to kind of just look inside within yourself. You know, I'm really big on like working on self, and I think that all of us have an opportunity to become better one way or another. So I think that some people need to be single, you know, and that might be a conversation for another time, but it's like you have no business being on that app. Just get off. You know, just get off the app, take some time to work on yourself, you know, because you might be 75% you right now, and you got to be 100 you to actually find the right person for you. And not just to find the right person, but to identify that that's the right person for you. Because what if I've already been in the room with the person I'm supposed to be with, but I wasn't there yet? You know, going back to the conversation we had with like right person, wrong time, you know? So it's like, I feel that a lot of people just need to be okay with being single for some time and kind of just taking it slow, so.
Boom. Raymond.
Discernment. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing I
I
would
don't think
give.
everybody has that gift, man. It's a spiritual
It's
gift.
ooh boy, let me tell you something.
That's a spiritual
But
gift.
that goes with
You
working
can
on
work
yourself.
And that, but I was about to say that ties into
on it.
self. It ties into. By the way, the phrase I couldn't remember the other podcast I was on is retrospective reflection.
Yeah.
That was the phrase that I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't remember it, but that's the thing. Retrospective, because
Shout out to Marcus.
within retrospective reflection, you go introspective as well. A lot of people are like, no, you gotta do introspective. No, for me, the one that worked best for me was retrospective because I look back on myself. I knock out the introspection as well because I'm looking at back on my actions and what I thought and how I dealt with things. Why did I think this way? Why did I make this decision? Why did I feel this way in this situation? And once you start putting those together, you start figuring out who you are, why you are, and that informs who you want to attract. Because if you know who you are and you know what you like, you know what drives you, what motivates you, what turns you on, what turns you off, when you see it, you were gonna see it. You're gonna okay, bet this is what I was. This is it. I figured it out for myself. So let me figure out what the other person needs to be. And so once you do that, then it helps inform discernment because then you can tell what is spam and what is worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
What you need to invest time in and what you don't need to invest time in.
Yep.
So but it all comes in discernment.
And it's that respect.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because if we're talking about like ghosting and all these other whatnot, a lot of the time it's like people don't know how to respect themselves and what they're willing to put up with. So then they're just putting up with everything.
Exactly.
And I don't have time for that. So yes, I love that.
So what we got is respect. What do you say?
Retrospective reflection.
Retrospective reflection.
Yep.
Respect. Discernment. Communication. And do you really know yourself well enough to be on the app in the first place? This has been the Real Example Podcast, and we've had a lovely time talking with Danna, talking with TJ, talking with Raymond. We're having a good time. It's been a long time. We went over it. So we're going to wrap it up, and y'all enjoy this episode.
Yep.